Welcome back to another story time on my channel, and oh my god, I've absolutely no idea how this video is going to turn out. It's probably going to be really short, but I just had to tell you guys because this was the freakiest experience of my life. It was definitely freakier than all my paranormal experience story times. I should also mention that I wasn't going to do this story time just simply because if this girl did have a mental illness, I do feel really bad for talking about her in this way, and I do hope that she can get the help that she deserves and that she starts taking her medication properly or whatever. But I just wanted to share it to get other people's opinions on the matter and just talk about it. So this happened to me literally yesterday, and I just wanted to get out my camera and record exactly what happened and get your guys' opinion on the matter as well. So since moving, I have been getting the bus to work every day that I have work, and this is about a 50-minute bus journey, and usually it's completely fine. I don't actually mind travelling on a bus, you know, public transport to me is completely fine. I'm going to be doing a completely different video on types of people on public transport, but that will be in the future. So back to this story. Yesterday I had work at 12 o'clock, so I got onto the bus at 10:25. This is a bit of useless information, but it's just a little bit of a backstory. So I got onto the bus like I always do, paid it, and I sat down near the front. And I usually sit at the front just because it's a lot quicker and easier to get off when I get to my destination and I don't have to wait for lots of people to get off the bus. So I sat in the second row over to the right of the bus, and I was on my own, and the only other person was this woman that was sitting across from me but a row up, if that makes sense. She was completely in my view, but I took obviously no notice of her. And the only other people that were near the front of the bus was this couple who were sitting behind the girl, and they were asleep because obviously they had been travelling a lot longer than I had. I usually just put in my headphones and go on my phone for the bus journey. I noticed she was on the phone and she was talking really loudly. She was obviously talking to someone who was going to be picking her up from the bus station, and she was telling them that she was up really early and the bus that she was supposed to get on never came. So she seemed really angry on the phone, and she was saying that she was so sorry that this person collecting her had to wait for her. And that was fine, you know, she was just talking loudly, whatever. And she hung up the phone, and again I was just listening to music, and it was down kind of low because I never turn my music up high on a bus just because I don't want someone to like rob my bag or something. I don't know, I just have weird fears. So I was listening to music again, minding my own business, and I heard her laughing, and it was a really loud laugh. So I just looked over her to see, you know, what she was laughing at, expecting her to be on the phone, but she was not on the phone because her phone was on the kind of like little shelf table in front of her, and she was laughing to herself, and then she just goes, "Oh sorry," but not to me, not to anybody, just "oh sorry" to herself. But you know, that wasn't that weird because sometimes that happens to me too. I just laugh out loud at things that happened a long time ago, so I ignored that again. And then the bus journey proceeded to go along, and I was just listening to Kanye, you know, as you do, and all of a sudden she whacked her hand off the chair, and on the side of the chair it's like hard plastic, so she like whacked her hand off the side of the chair, and it made a really loud noise, and I was like, what is she doing? Originally I thought she like dropped something, but she did not drop something because she did it again, and she just kept whacking her hands off the chair really loudly and abruptly. And then I kind of felt bad because then I thought that she had like a mental illness or something, I don't know, because she was uncontrollably hitting her hands off the chair. I should also point out that the bus that I was getting on was coming from Dublin, so the people on the bus would have been on the bus for 2 hours before I get on, if that makes sense, and then for a further 50 minutes to where I have to go. So the people on the bus were already on the bus for 2 hours. If this girl was already kind of weird on the bus before, everyone would be kind of used to it, you know. But when she was whacking her hands, the bus driver kept turning around really shocked to see what was going on. So she kept kind of hitting her hands off the side of the chair on the hard plastic, and then she kind of realised she was doing it, so she was sitting on her hands to kind of keep them from hitting the chair because obviously it was sore, it was hard plastic, so she was trying to stop herself from doing it, so she was sitting on her hands. And this is when I took out my headphones because I just kind of got a weird vibe off her. And some people might think I'm a horrible person because she could have had a mental illness, I don't know. But then it got weirder. So after she proceeded to keep hitting her hands and hitting the ceiling, and she kept kicking the chairs, she then began to mutter things under her breath in not her normal voice. And now I say not her normal voice because I heard her on the phone before this to someone who was picking her up, and she just sounded like a normal, 20-something-year-old girl, which is what she was. She was probably early 30s, and she just sounded normal. But when she was muttering things under her breath, it did not sound normal. Her voice changed from, normal high-pitched girl voice to really, really deep, manly voice. And I know I have a deep voice, and loads of other women have deep voices, but this was not a normal deep voice. This voice was something like you see on horror films and scary films when people are possessed by the devil and they get this like devil voice. That's the only way I can describe it, and people are going to say that I'm crazy, but this is literally what she sounded like. And I was trying to listen to what she was saying, but she was saying it so like kind of quiet under her voice that I couldn't really hear, but all she kept saying was destruction. And now this is when I started freaking out, because she was hitting and kicking the bus and saying destruction under her voice in a really, really deep voice. And I started to get really, really panicky, and I was absolutely pooping my pants, because now I knew that she couldn't control what she was doing. So she literally could have done anything on this bus. And then after that, she kept standing up in the middle of the aisle and nearly falling over because the bus was, bumpy, it was going fast. And then she'd move over to the seat in front of me, and she'd turn around and just stare at me dead in the eyes, and I literally wanted to cry. It felt like she was just like trying to kill me through looks. Oh my god, it was so freaky, and I honestly didn't know what to do, so I just kept looking down at my phone pretending I was texting, and I was texting Jared this time explaining what was happening and stuff like that. And she just kept getting up, switching seats over and back, standing in the aisle staring at me. And then when she sat beside the window seat, she'd stare at her reflection in the window and just chant off whatever she was talking about, destruction, blah blah blah, destruction, in her really, really deep voice. Maybe she just had schizophrenia or something, I don't know. It's probably more likely that she had schizophrenia than being possessed. But I literally feared for my safety because I thought she was going to attack me on the bus. I felt like someone should have been not minding her, but kind of like making sure that she was safe, because her safety was at risk as well. If she fell over or the bus crashed or anything like that, she would have been seriously injured. And plus she was hitting and kicking hard plastic, which definitely was not pleasant for her. Whether she felt it or not at the moment, I don't have a clue. That proceeded for the whole 50-minute bus journey, and she just kept chanting weird things under her voice at her reflection, and then staring at me and getting up and swapping seats and hitting and kicking the bus. I also felt kind of bad because I was scared of this girl who probably would not have done anything. She clearly just had a few mental issues. It's a really touchy subject, I don't want to get into that, but whatever was wrong with her, I really hope that she can get help that she needs. Maybe she was not taking her medication, I don't know. It was just a really, really scary experience. And coming up to the bus station where she was going to get off, the bus driver asked her was she okay, because obviously she was sitting right behind him and he could see what was going on as well. And she just completely switched back to her normal self and her normal voice, and she was like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm just getting off the next stop, whatever. And that was so weird to me, like, that she could just switch back to her normal self just like that. And when she was getting off, I was standing behind her because we were both getting off the same stop, and I could get this smell, like the same smell I got in Loftus Hall. Don't often smell this smell because it's a really horrible smell, and I don't know how to describe it, but it's just a not nice smell at all. A really strong, disgusting smell. And loads of people have said that this is a sign of like demons or spirits or something, I don't know. That's what people have said in my last video. So if you have any opinions on what happened, leave them down in the comments. I obviously don't know what was wrong with the girl. She probably just had a mental illness and wasn't taking her medication. I'm sure she wasn't possessed by the devil, but that's what it really, really did seem like at the time. When I got off the bus before work, I literally felt like crying. because I don't know, it was just so weird and creepy what happened, and I was just not expecting that at 10:30 in the morning. And to some people it's not going to sound that bad, but in the time and in the moment it was just so scary. While I was on the bus and while this was happening, I was literally on my phone writing everything down on my notes so I could remember to tell you guys. So hopefully I kind of remembered everything. I'm probably forgetting a really important detail that made the story a lot more scary, but to me it was freaky, and I hope it never happens again because it was scary. I hope you enjoyed me rambling on again about some scary stuff that has happened to me, and if you'd like more story times, let me know. Give it a thumbs up, share the video, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.